Have you ever struggled with not feeling non-binary enough or not feeling trans enough? Because I know that I have. And one of the main reasons for this is because of the stereotypes that we see in society, in media, of trans and non-binary individuals. A lot of those stereotypes go into how we view non-binariness and transness for ourselves when we first come out. Some of those stereotypes include medically transitioning, wanting to pass, wanting to be androgynous, socially transitioning, hating gender altogether. But the reality is that there is no one way to be trans or non-binary, and these stereotypes are not guidelines. They aren't, the epiphany of being trans and non-binary. They are just what some people do. And for a long time, I didn't feel non-binary enough or trans enough because I didn't look like those stereotypes. I didn't look androgynous. I didn't want to medically transition. I thought I wouldn't be perceived as non-binary because I didn't align with those stereotypes, when in reality, non-binariness has all looks, any looks, no look. It is whatever you want it to be, and your gender journey is whatever you want it to be.
What did you say?
Non-binariness has all looks, any looks, no look.
What the does that even mean? I don't even understand what that means. That sounds like some bullshit to me.
How could one possibly be not non-binary enough when the whole non-binary thing is just, you know what, never mind. Here I go again, trying to make sense of the nonsensical. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I have a fairly quick and very crazy Clown World update for you guys today, and as usual, we have, very little time to waste. So let's get into it. Now, if you place your attention on the screen for a moment. So this rather husky individual in the black sweater is Andrea. Now, Andrea is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman and calls himself a lesbian. Now, as you can see, Andrea is doing everything he can to hide any male characteristics with the long hair and turtleneck. For example, the jawline and the Adam's apple are hidden. However, those Sasquatch paws are a dead giveaway, right? Am I right?
She had man hands.
Man hand?
The hands of a man. It's like a creature out of Greek mythology. I mean, she was like part woman, part horrible beast.
All right, let's keep it moving with today's segment of celebrities who suffer from TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome. Now, I actually have a double dose for you guys today. Well, it's actually a triple dose, but I'm going to save one of those clips for the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. So for the double dose, we're going to hear from Mark Hamill and then Barbara Streisand. And Mark Hamill is the one here behind the big, giant, dark Brandon mask. For those that don't know, Mark Hamill played Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars movie, and he is a big, big, big Joe Biden fan. Roll it.
Hey, I'm Mark Hamill, and I'm voting for Joby-Wan Kenobi.
Say what?
Hey, I'm Mark Hamill, and I'm voting for Joby-Wan Kenobi.
What an idiot.
Meanwhile.
Good morning. Thank you as always for your kindness and for your insights. Mr. Trump, with all due respect, you can dismiss falling crime rates as being fake like you did in a recent interview, but the fact is those crime statistics were submitted by local and state law enforcement officials, many of whom endorsed you for president. Mr. Trump, homicide rates are falling faster than they have for the last several decades, and your only response is to dismiss that data, dismiss those statistics as being fake. The fact is, Mr. Trump, the reason why crime rates are falling so dramatically is because under Joe Biden's steady leadership, our economy today is the strongest in the industrialized world. Mr. Trump, coming out of a pandemic, coming out of the chaos of your administration, we have a majority of Americans who now understand, who appreciate that we must emphasize kindness and compassion across our country. Mr. Trump, when you value kindness and compassion, you also value dialogue and discourse. And when you value dialogue and discourse, you value participatory democracy. You value sitting down with fellow Americans, even if you disagree, and actually working to solve the problems that we face as Americans. Mr. Trump, when you value kindness and compassion, you also value the greater good. And the greater good is understanding that I'm nothing if I don't care about and value the well-being of my fellow citizens. Mr. Trump, at any of your rallies, have you ever spoken about kindness, compassion, the greater good? Mr. Trump, the majority of Americans reject your vitriol. They reject your retribution. They reject your talk of being a dictator because the majority of Americans understand we are remaking this country. And I say this with no disrespect, but you better prepare yourself for a massive landslide in November, because I think what the majority of Americans now understand is that you're not going to go away unless we absolutely force you to. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Get a haircut, hippie.
I know. That last clip with Barbara Streisand dragged on a little too long, and I do apologize, but I think it's important to see just how far gone these people are. Anyway, next up, let's go ahead and check in with our friendly neighborhood college protesters. And just a quick heads up, I'm going to give you guys about 5 seconds to turn your volume down just a skosh, just for a second. Trust me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, roll it. All right, sorry about that. She got a little triggered by that fella standing across the way holding a flag, and I'm hoping they have a safe space somewhere at that college where she can go chill the out for a little bit. Anyway, next up, here we have another friendly neighborhood college protester who's going to do a rap song for us. This young lady has to be related to Eminem. Roll it.
They can't arrest all of us. What are they gonna do? Put every last one of us in handcuffs? Nah, because they don't have enough. Enough to hold all of us. They hear our demands and they understand. Colonizing hands, they can't arrest all of us. So they bring out their forces. Start all the violence, trying to silence, and they're afraid of us. Because now we're screaming and we're wide awake. We'll get in their faces. We're full of rage, because we're done. Done with their scheming, done with their thieving. They've woken a movement they cannot slay. They'll regret us till their dying day, but they can't arrest all of us. They can't stop all of us. We outnumber them, 100,000 to 1. Their day is done. They can't arrest all of us.
Your song? It's awful. I hate it.
All right, enough college protests for one day. We'll catch up with them in the next video. However, I do want to mention one last thing before we move on. Did you guys happen to notice what was hanging on the wall behind Lady Eminem in that last clip? A pride flag was hanging next to a Palestinian headscarf. Let that sink in for a minute. Anyway, next up, here we have a young lady trying to put gasoline into an electric Tesla Cybertruck. Roll it.
No. It's electric. Ooh. No. Stop. No.
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Real quick, before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsors of today's video. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to let this loop on the screen. Wow, I hope this guy never needs a traditional job. Anyway, today's video is being brought to us by, we actually have 3 sponsors for today's video. Our first sponsor is a great friend of the channel, Brian Tresser. Brian, thank you so much, sir, for your service in the Marine Corps as well as sponsoring today's video. I really appreciate the support. Second sponsor of today's video is another great friend of the channel, Coda320. Coda320 once again, and as always, sir, thank you so much for your kind words, generosity, and support. You're keeping my faith in humanity alive. And third sponsor of today's video, last but certainly not least, is Dylan Daly. Dylan, thank you so much for your kind words and support. I really appreciate it. So today's video sponsors are Brian Tresser, Coda 320, and Dylan Daly. Now, if you'd like to sponsor the next video and help support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description box below, and I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you. All right, get this off the screen, please. This is what nightmares are made of. Ugh.
What the hell is even that?
All right, next up we have this slightly rotund individual who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman, and he is upset not because he's being misgendered, but because he's being degendered. Roll it.
Pernicious forms of transphobia is when someone knows that I'm a woman, but they also know that I am a trans woman, so they start degendering me, which is essentially like not ascribing a gender to me at all. So at best I might get they, them pronouns, but mostly it's just oddly constructed sentences like, oh, let me just get this person the check, or, oh, I'm sure we have something for our friend here to do. And, you know, just call me a slur.
I suggest you stop whining like a little bitch.
All right, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up with this clip of Hollywood actor Jeff Daniels of Dumb and Dumber fame starting to exude some symptoms of TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome. Now, here he is on MSNBC's Morning Joe talking about how there's a war on our democracy and how even though Joe Biden's old, we need his knowledge and wisdom in the White House for 4 more years. Anyway, things are clearly getting very crazy out there, guys. So please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time. Love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
Basically, I think even the middle of the country, even Michigan, is watching the Republican Party destroy itself.
Yeah, particularly in Michigan.
But there are 2 wars going on. I see the war within the Republican Party, which we're all standing back going, knock yourselves out. And then there's the war for democracy, which is going on right now, and it's on the internet, it's on social media, it's on people not listening anymore. But that war is going to culminate in November, and I think that's when the voters. And I'm cautiously optimistic that the people in the middle, the people in states like Michigan, are going to go, you know what, we're better than this. I'm going to vote for Biden, even though he's old, which also translates into wise and wisdom, which we may need right now, because the election that I really want to vote on is the one in 2028.
What did you say? What the f did you just say?
I'm going to vote for Biden, even though he's old, which also translates into wise and wisdom, which we may need right now.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
No, none taken.
And you ain't black.